Thursday and I am supposed to have a pair of fingerless gloves done by Saturday as a gift knit, and currently I have 1 out of 2 and the rest of my yarn is looking at me and needs to be knitted up, and I am not incredibly motivated because the first one was a tiny bit fiddly and also I weaved in ends on it for a good hour, so that wasn't that fun. I need to do it though, so now I'm filming, so you can come along. And also it turned out cooler than I expected, so now I want to share about it. Basically, this is the glove, this is what it looks like. And the story of this begins last year already when my sister asked me to make her a hat for Christmas. So I got some drops yarn, I believe it was Nepal because the colors kind of match up, but I don't have the tag anymore. It was a yarn, I don't know, I think it's mostly like wool or alpaca or something. And I made the hat, and then I had a bit of yarn left over out of all of the 3 colors that I got, which was a white and then a grey and a purple, which you might be kind of able to see a little bit. Anyways, that yarn has been in my big bin of leftover yarns for a year now, because already when I was done I kind of decided I should make her some fingerless gloves to go with the hat, but I never got around to it, and then it was warm, you know how it goes. So now it is winter again and I should make her some gloves. And I started, and this is what I came up with, and I think it looks really cool. So what I did here is I just cast on normally. I didn't do any finishings, I just left the edge as it was. I did some rosen stockinette stitch. So this is not super duper tight around the wrist, but I think it looks kind of cool that way. So I don't know, if you want it to be tighter you should start with less stitches and then do some increases around here, I guess. I didn't, I just measured about how wide this would be, and then I went with that number for my cast on. And then I did some tiny micro stripes. So I started with the purple and then I alternated the grey and the purple the entire way throughout, which was more complicated than it sounds like. I don't know. I was working in Magic Loop, and then I came until this point, and this is where I started the color work, and I also started this hole here. So instead of working around in Magic Loop, I then I did the collar work, I did the back side, and then I cut the yarn here and attached the other color yarn and then purled back, and I worked flat like that with the alternating stripe colors until, I don't know, somewhere around here I guess, where I started working in the round again with the color work, which was significantly easier. And then I just did a couple of rows of stockinette stitch up here with what I had left over and did a normal bind off, and this is what it looks like now. And I think it's really cute, and I'm gonna share how I made it. I'm not gonna give a full-on tutorial because I don't feel like I'm qualified to do that. I haven't given this enough thought. I also don't really want to put out like a pattern or something for this. It's like way too much work. So I'm just gonna like take you along for my process. If you want to make this too, you can kind of follow along, I guess. If not, sorry, you're just gonna have to watch it like that. For the other fingerless glove, the hands are obviously like inverted, so I need to put the hole on the other side, which I think it should work if I like work the back side of it first and then do the color work and then leave the hole. I think that should work out in my mind. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna see how that goes, and hopefully I get a matching one. The main problem with this was actually the ends to weave in, because I cut my yarn like every row here, and there was a lot of ends, and all of the ends are like right here, and it was difficult to do it in a way where it didn't get uncomfy. I tried to do a crochet edge around here at first, in hopes that I could just like sneak the yarn in between the stitches and wouldn't have to weave anything in, but it got really thick and uncomfortable, so I went with just picking up the stitches and knitting like one round that I also used to bind off. So yeah, tiny bit of finishings, but not really much. And yeah, let's do the second one.
Got created by while drinking at his desk. The early draft is filed forever as the pain descends his arm again. Whiskey glass of April falls to the floor.
Okay, for my gloves I cast on 32 stitches. That's kind of what should fit the largest part of my hand, and I'm assuming my sister's hand will be quite similar. And now for Magic Loop, usually you would divide the stitches in the middle, which I'm not going to do because the motif that I put on the front, the snowflake here, is 17 stitches. And then I want one stitch on the side where the hole is, just so it doesn't start right where your thumb goes. And then I also put an extra stitch on the other side just to like remember what's going on and have everything be symmetrical. Okay, that was weird. 3 like black, scary looking helicopters just flew over me. I don't know where they came from or what's going on with those. Anyways, to get back to my knitting, I have 32 stitches and I'm gonna put 19 of those for now the back side. It's gonna be 1 on the front, but for my knitting it's gonna be the back side because that'll be easier to make the hole on the side this way. So this will be where I continue knitting, and I have 32 stitches minus 19, so 13 on the front. Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay, this is what it looks like, and I'm gonna do the first row in the purple just to get everything connected, and because it's gonna curl up anyway, so you won't really see the first row. So it doesn't matter that it's kind of interrupting the stripe pattern. Oh god, I hate doing magic loop, it's already annoying. And then I will switch to the grey for the second round, and I will just attach that, knit around with it, and then leave it hanging there, and then switch to the purple once again. And I actually don't know how many rounds I did before I started the color work. Maybe I should figure that out. Actually quite many.
Got created by while drinking at his desk. The early draft is filed forever as the pain descends is on again.
Okay, we switched to a bit of an unusual setting, and with the setting in this case I mean the floor. There's a fireplace here. I would really like it to work because I think it's really cozy in the winter. However, it is being uncooperative, as is my yarn currently. So it needs a little bit of extra attention today. I don't know, whenever I try to get this thing to start, I wonder how house fires happen, because it has the perfect conditions. It is made to have a fire inside of it. It has the perfect materials inside of it. How is there not a fire? I don't know. I don't get it. Anyways, I'm now sitting on the floor and making sure it does its job. I'm going to be working on my gloves, obviously, while I do that, because I'm not going to waste time just staring at this thing. I've been watching some like vlogmases and like some YouTube videos I missed in the last few weeks. It's been really cozy, actually. And I'm not feeling too well today. I had a really bad night of sleep. I got out of bed to get like long pants to put on, which is not very usual for me. And I don't know, I'm not feeling my best, but that won't stop me from sitting here knitting a little bit and at least making my day be more cozy and warm than my night was. Am I the right color? It's crazy how this grey and this pink look so incredibly similar. I think I already noticed that last winter when I was making the hat that I originally bought the yarn for. I wanted to make a brioche two-color brioche hat. I saw some online and I thought it looked really, really cool, and it's a really fun technique too. I really like it. I like working in brioche in general. I also made a brioche sweater before, the Maybe Forever sweater by Veronica Lindberg, which is actually one of my most worn knits, I believe, just because it's really easy to throw on, it's really warm, and I don't know, I don't feel too precious about it because I used Drops air thread, so it wasn't like the most expensive project. And I also made it a while ago, so now I don't really remember the struggles of it too well. It was a complicated project, I do remember that. I had some problems with the sizing, and I don't know, just brioche in general. It's kind of annoying when you make a mistake in brioche, because it's not that easy to fix. There's ways to fix it. I've recently actually come across like a TikTok tutorial of how to do it again. I believe I looked it up at the time, but especially if it's one color, I feel like it's pretty hard because there's so many strands. If you like unravel one stitch down and you have to like go under this, go over this, pick up this, skip this one, and I don't know, not that easy. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. I made a hat, and in the hat I used, I believe, the grey and the white for the two-color brioche, and then I wanted to put in like a little bit of purple because I was going off of a picture of my sister's scarf that she wanted the hat to match, and that was mainly white, and it had like some grey and purple plaid print on it, or I don't know, it's not a print probably, but anyways, it was grey and a little bit of purple. And if I remember correctly, I did the brim of the hat in 1x1 ribbing, switching between the white and the purple. So that has also 2 colors. And I was kind of hoping it would give a little bit of a contrast to the rest of the hat that was in the grey and white brioche. But somehow it looks like the same color even on the hat. So I don't know, these seem to be incredibly similar. Somehow this whole magic loop part seemed really annoying for the first glove, but now that I know what's to come for me, with the knitting colorwork flat and still switching the background color every row, I am not as annoyed by it. That is good. I should probably count how many rows of this I did on the first glove. How do people knit without looking at their hands? I never quite get it. I can do like 1 or 2 stitches, but to keep going the entire row and like not know what you're looking at, I am so impressed with people who can do that. Maybe it's just a lack of experience on my part, so maybe it'll come. Maybe I'm still learning, I don't know. Maybe I should just try it more often, to be honest, because I don't really ever try to do that. I think maybe that's a skill I want to learn. Maybe I should keep eye contact with you while I do this, so I'm not good at it. Oh, actually, it's not that hard. Okay, I mean, this is kind of favorable conditions for me because the yarn is pretty thick and woolly, so it's like not the most difficult. I'm kind of scared I will like not hit the stitch and just like knit into nothingness in between 2 stitches, but I don't know. I should practice this, maybe on a different project when I'm just doing stockinette, because this is too much turning around in the middle.
Just like a lovely priest on Mondays. Just like a lovely priest on Mondays.
Okay, so I made the cuff on this side exactly as long as on this side, which is 15 rows if you're curious about row counts. And I'm gonna start the color work now, and it's a little bit complicated. Well, it's not complicated, it's just fiddly and a bit annoying to work, but it's fine. It's not particularly hard, so I'm gonna start working flat now instead of working in the round, because I want to create this hole on the side so you can put your thumb through it, which means that if I still want to switch the background color every row, I need to cut my yarn every row, which, yeah, just gives me a lot of ends to weave in, but I guess that can't be fixed. So this is the side I'm going to start on, and this is going to be the back side of the glove, so what sits on the inside of your hand, this side. And this side currently has 13 stitches on it, and the other side has 19 stitches on it, because my motif is 17 stitches wide, and I want like 1 buffer stitch on each side. So it's not quite symmetrical, but it's fine. I don't know, why not? So I'm gonna knit this side, and then I'm gonna switch sides for magic loop, and I'm gonna knit this side. I'm gonna start the color work here, and then when I get to here, I will cut my yarn and I will attach the other color on the same point, and I will purl back. I will do my color work, and then the other side, just plain, and then I will switch colors again, and I will knit there again, and that's how I'm gonna work the entirety of the color work. I was briefly thinking maybe I should try to figure out a way to do it completely in the round after I'm done with this hole here, because for this glove I made the hole a little bit too big, so it was a little bit wider here, and I seamed it when I did the finishings on here, but I think that won't really be possible, because then I would have to carry my yarn as a float the entire back side where it's plain, and I don't have that much yarn, so this is all the yarn I have for the snowflake. And for the front side I had this much left over of the same amount, which, I mean, it's a tiny bit of leeway, but not that much, so I just don't want to risk doing that. I think I'm just gonna leave the colorwork part flat as I did for the first one, and then seam it a little bit here on the side. That makes just the most sense to me. And yeah, it's not that fun to do, because it's a lot of like loose ends that are flying somewhere, and it's a bit fiddly to manage 3 balls of yarn at once, but we will get it done, and I'm sure you can also get it done if you're trying to do this. And I don't know, if you're a bit like confused about all of this and you want to do this, maybe do it with 1 background color, not with 2. That would make it significantly easier. Evening already. I don't know what happened. I was like really slow somehow and didn't focus on this enough, but I finished the color work just now. This is what I ended up with. This is what it looks like. and the hole is on this side here, so when I wear it I can wear it on my right hand, or when my sister wears it. I don't know, I wasn't my most focused. I made a mistake just now and worked like 5 rows only this side and kind of forgot about this side also existing. I don't know how that happened, but it's a common problem I have with Magic Loop. I like kind of zone out when I've done it for a while and forget which side of the row I've worked and which side I haven't. Anyways, I fixed it. I learned how to felt my yarn together to connect 2 strands of it, because I had so many like little pieces after making that mistake. And obviously I'm not working with too much yarn, and like what I had left over from my first glove is like this much, so I was a bit worried, and then I figured out how to felt them together. It's a really good technique actually. I don't know why I haven't been doing it. I think this just works really well because it's only wool. Anyways, I'm now gonna connect back in the round. So I left my purple yarn, the last row was grey, and I left my purple yarn attached here. And now I'm just gonna start working in the round again for the last few rounds so that it's actually attached up top here. It'll look a little bit better. And then I have this huge hole with all of the ends to fix for the end, but well, I guess I gotta do what I have to do. I started watching the Eras Tour documentary while I was working on this, and it's making me really sad again because I was one of those unlucky people. I had tickets to go to the Vienna show, or one of the Vienna shows, which were the ones that got cancelled because of like terrorist attack threatening or whatever. And that was not very fun because, you know, I bought the tickets like a year before and I was really excited to go, and I was already like traveling, so I was in the country already, and then it got cancelled and it was just a bit sad. I still stayed in Vienna and I still had like a good time. There was like some partying going on in the street and it was so cute. I witnessed a proposal actually, it was really adorable. And there was this guy who lived in the street where we all gathered, and he lived like up top in an apartment somewhere and had like her music playing from his window and was like throwing down, I don't know, all kinds of merch items that he printed out at home. It was really cute, but still, like, I was not very happy about not being able to go to the concert. I mean, I understand completely why it didn't happen, but still, I was not very happy about that. And then after that, I couldn't see the whole like Eras Tour on Disney or wherever it was. I like swiped away from all of the Eras Tour TikToks. It was just making me so upset. And now I thought I was over it, and I started watching the documentary again, and I'm so not over it. I'm still mad that I didn't get to go. Anyways, to go back to knitting, I'm gonna finish my episode and I'm gonna finish my glove.
Got created by while drinking at his desk. The early draft is filed forever as the pain descends is on again.
Okay, I saved you from the misery of having to weave in all of the ends. I just did that because I finished my second glove and then I felt a slight tinge of motivation, like about this much. And I decided to already weave in all the ends. I wove in these ends after doing the finishing here on the thumb hole, and it was not that fun, so I decided to try doing it before. And if you're recreating this for some reason, I don't even know what video this is. It's like kind of a project vlog, but also kind of like a tutorial or something. And I will just give you the chart if you are trying to do this too. I don't know. I did 6 more rows after the snowflake if you're interested in row counts. And then now I have this big hole in the side where I did the color work. And I wove in all of my ends here and here. So this is what the inside looks like now. And the only thing I have left to do is finish this hole here. I am gonna pick up some stitches from up here already, and I'm gonna sew like 1 centimeter maybe closed, because this hole is a little bit big. But if you want to knit the colorwork somewhat reasonably, I think it's necessary to do it flat. So as you can see, this could be closed, you know, it's a little large. And I think if I remember correctly what I did for this one, I just held both of my yarns together because I didn't want to pick a favorite. And then I just picked up a random amount of stitches. I have no idea how many, just however many feel good to you. I sewed these 2 together, so I picked up stitches through both sides of the fabric for the first like centimeter and a half, and then only of one side of the fabric for this part here. And then after I was done picking up the stitches, I just knit 1 row and bind off at the same time. Now that I can see better what I'm doing because there isn't a billion ends sticking out, I'm already so much more careful and precise with everything. I just use the same needle size. I'm on 5mm, by the way. I don't know if I've mentioned that ever in this video. Sorry, this is all a bit chaotic, but whatever. I just use the same needle size for this, even though I'm holding the yarn together. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to do that. Probably not, but I didn't think about it when I did the first glove, and now I have to make the second one matching, and I generally think it doesn't look bad, so whatever. So the way I do it whenever I pick up stitches is I put them on my crochet hook, and then it's a little bit annoying to transfer them, so I don't do it after every stitch. I just pick up a few stitches, which is a little bit more complicated right now because I'm working through both of these fabric layers. Maybe like 1 or 2 more through both of them. I don't know, where did I end up with the other one on the snowflake? Okay, like kind of over, right over where this like side stitches that goes the furthest out. Well, that's basically where I am right now. Should I do another one? Maybe not. So I just picked up 3 stitches from the little gap, and then I take my knitting needles, and now the stitches are on my crochet hook twisted, so I pick them up through the back loop. So go into this loop, and I just slide them off on the other side. And you have to use a crochet hook if you want to do that, that like has the same thickness all throughout. I have some with this handle, which obviously that won't work as well because you can't slide the stitches to the other side, but for this one it works really well. And I find it quite practical and a lot easier than the knitting needle. I hate the sound that these circular needles make when you're picking up stitches. Also when you're casting on, they're also always like slapping on my table. It's so loud. And I mean, usually when I show these parts, when I'm recording, I like cut out the sounds and just put music over top. You're just witnessing what I can usually hear, which is not very fun because it's unpleasant. I finished my Taylor Swift documentary. I was like, literally about a minute from the end of the first episode when I recorded the last part. No, it fell out. Whatever. And then I watched the second part, and at the moment there's only 2. I feel like there was supposed to be 6, but maybe I got something wrong. And now I continued watching The Grand Budapest Hotel, which is a Wes Anderson film, and I've never seen one of his films. So I was kind of curious what it would be like, and I somehow figured out that that one would be like most wintry. I was kind of wanting to watch not a Christmas movie, but just something that fits the wintry vibe. And I'm not usually a movie person. I'm really bad with movies. I feel like I need to do something with my hands while I'm watching a movie, otherwise I will get bored. But when I do something with my hands, I will be looking at my hands and not the movie, so I will like miss half the plot if it's complicated. Also, I can't tell faces apart at all. If there's like a white guy with brown hair and another white guy with brown hair, I'm already lost after like 5 minutes. I don't know who that is. I also don't remember faces, so like if you show me a person in the beginning of a movie and you bring them back an hour later, do you think I will remember what this person looked like? I will most definitely not. How did I do this last time? Kind of impractical. I can't keep picking up stitches like that. Oh well. I'm just gonna pick up 1 stitch from this gap here, and then I'm gonna slide my needle through, so it's also... Yeah, I think I also knitted these finishings on Magic Loop. I don't even know if you can hear me ramble on about what I'm watching, or if that interests you, because this is making so much noise. I feel like I'm talking more in these short project vlogs because I like assume I won't have enough footage of me just doing the thing. Just because, like, what am I really going to show about making 1 fingerless glove when I've already finished the other one too? I just feel like I have more space to ramble on, because if I do the longer project vlogs and I ramble on for so long, I just end up cutting it out because there's, you know, more important things happening than me telling you about what I'm watching. I have like projects to finish. I'm pretty excited to be done with this because I kind of decided to not do any more gift knits really. So that's my last one, and then I can finally like do a fun project again. I mean, not that this isn't fun, but just like I'm not gonna lie, I like knitting for myself better. It's like more exciting if I also get to keep the finished object. I do derive a lot of joy from just the process of it, which is also why I don't mind frogging, really. It never makes me overly mad if I have to frog something, just because I like the process of making it, so I don't mind doing that again. But giving it away, like, I'm happy the person is happy, but like I would also like to have a cool thing in the end, you know? It's like more fun if I get to wear it. I also have never knitted fingerless gloves before, and I haven't looked at a single tutorial or pattern or anything for how you do that. I don't even know if this is a smart way of doing that. I feel like most fingerless gloves I've seen have a thumb, though, which I was definitely too lazy to do. Also didn't have the yarn to do, admittedly. I have so much more yarn left over than for the first one. I don't know how that happened. I'm saying so much more yarn. This is all the yarn. And now I'm just gonna bind this off in Magic Loop. I think that's how I did it. I picked some stitches up the wrong way, and now I get to knit them through the back loop. I like knitting stitches through the back loop. There was actually time when I forgot how it's called, when I did this type of knitting where you knit everything the wrong way, essentially. Because when I learned how to purl, I kind of did it wrong. I like purled the stitches, or I put the yarn around them from underneath instead of from the top. I don't know if that makes any sense the way I'm explaining it, but basically I twisted all of my purl stitches. And then I learned that actually some people do that on purpose, and there's a method for that, and you just also twist your knit stitches and then it fixes the problem. So for a whole while I was knitting that way. I was like knitting all of my knit stitches through the back loop, and I did that for a whole while until I kind of started doing more complicated projects, more complicated increases and all these types of things. And at that point it became really hard to figure out how to do them in this type of knitting without like switching everything around for the increase rows. And I just got so confused to the point where I just learned how to knit properly. So now I do my purl stitches the right way and I do my knit stitches the right way, but I still really like knitting through the back loop. I find it almost more practical because like when you're inserting your needle into a knit stitch, there's like another knit stitch right next to it, and I don't know, sometimes I also, when I'm knitting really fast, I accidentally don't insert my needle into the stitch, I just poke it through between two stitches, and there's like a lot of potential to do something wrong with doing knit stitches like that. But I feel like if you knit through the back loop, there's only one stitch there that you could potentially hit, and it's like really difficult to miss it. I find it easier. I don't know, this might be an unpopular opinion, but whatever. You can knit however you want. I'm gonna knit my way. Maybe at some point I'm gonna figure out how to do all of these increases and decreases and whatever you're knitting twisted. So there's a name for it. Why can't I remember what the name for it is? Is this all of the... No, not all of the yarn. This is all of the yarn I have left over. Do I have any more? Wait, there's a piece. And there's a piece. And I guess this can count as a piece in this as well. Okay, and the rest is just like ends I cut off. But yeah, this is the yarn I have left over, and I think I will be getting rid of this because this is not any amount that is reasonable to keep. Maybe if I like wanted a detail. Oh, now I'm doing the thing again where I'm too cheap to get rid of a tiny bit of yarn, so I just keep these, literally these amounts, laying around in my basket full of leftovers, and I never use them because what the hell am I supposed to use this for? I don't knit things where I need one single details. I don't knit animals where I would need an eye. I don't... What else would he even need details like that for? Maybe like stuffed animals, but that's also animals. I don't know. Okay, I wanted to show you my glove. Okay, this is it finished. This is what it looks like. This is what the thumb hole looks like. And it is on the right side. I'm very proud of myself. So I can put it on like this, and then I can put on the other one. And, well, readjusting. And this is what it looks like. It's really cute. I really like those. I'm really happy with them. They turned out so much better than I thought they would. If you are still trying to make a last-minute gift, these are fairly quick. I mean, I took like a day for each of them, but realistically, you would probably be able to do it in one day if you were very determined and had nothing else to do. They're not hard. They're a bit fiddly, as I said. The weaving in ends part, not that fun, but I think it's worth it. I think they're really cute. I think whoever you gift these to is probably gonna like them. And obviously, endless amounts of options for variations. I don't know, I made one, I thought it looked cute, I wanted to share how I made it. That's the whole point of this video. It was not a very comprehensive tutorial, it was more like, I'm doing this, if you want to, you can as well. Anyways, I will go to bed now. I am tired and it is 12 at night, so I will see you tomorrow with some pretty pictures of these. and then next time.